welcome to a preempted post-game, post-show Hard Knocks Episode 2. I am Danny, and next to me is Nikki. Nick, she's repping the Giants tonight. Usually not her colors, as what she says. But night 2 of Hard Knocks. Where do we begin? This was a much juicier episode, which we all expect, but it was another... All right, we were texting throughout the show, and we are just like, all right, here we go. All right, noted. Okay, I hate this guy. Oh, well, here we go.
Who do you hate? What guy do you hate?
I didn't personally hate anybody. We'll get into it. So first off, we start off. It's the draft combine. We're ready to get that thing going. They were basically breaking down the scouting reports of all the top prospects, all the top quarterbacks that we all know and went before we even had a shot. So we have Drake May, we had Jaden Daniels, and of course Caleb Williams. It was really interesting to see each play. Oh, and they also had JJ McCarthy. So they broke down each player, and then of course they broke down the wide receivers. Roma Dunze from Washington, Malik Neighbors, obviously, who we drafted at number 6, and of course, Marvin Harrison Jr. that went before us to the Cardinals. So, what did you take away in that segment of the scouts just basically marking down what they thought, what they didn't like of each player? Like, it seemed pretty basic to me. It didn't really seem earth-shattering. I noticed the dig at the end with the California scout with Caleb Williams saying he didn't want to talk to the press after a tough loss against UCLA. I'm pretty sure that was the loss where he broke down and cried, but I could be wrong on that. I would have to check that later. But like, what did you take away from that part to start off the episode?
Yeah, I think it's like pretty basic. It's gotta, you know what I really took away is like, it's gotta be hard to be a scout. Like, I gotta give them credit. I think the theme of this episode for me was there are people in this organization who don't get enough credit, right? And I feel like scouts are just one of those positions in all of, organizations. Like, it's like a thankless job, right? So I'm glad that we're getting to see them do their job. Yes, what they were doing, what they showed in the beginning of the episode was basic, but like, they spend a lot of time on the road and they're away from their family and their friends, and the amount of information that they have and the due diligence that they have to do and all the evaluating. So I think I walked away from this episode with a new appreciation for a lot of things, like spitting out a playbook speak and then having to recite it back. Like, you and I were just like, what the F are they talking about? Right. So I would say, before we get into like the meat of it and the details, I think the theme for me was just kind of like having an appreciation for other people in the organization other than Joe Schoen.
Right. It was Joe Schoen, Brandon Brown, and all the other bigger scouts. And I was going to mention, it was pretty interesting to see, like, the area scouts are basically the offensive line of the organization. You're only going to know when they fuck up on a draft pick.
Right.
Oh, hold on once.
What happened? What's up, Mark? Glad you are watching with us. Appreciate that. I think that the scouting department, we'll talk about it, but weren't they the ones that went and got a shrimp cocktail to like celebrate the end of their, I guess, being at the combine, right?
Sorry
but
about that.
I want to know what happened right there.
What happened was, for whatever reason, I had our friend Sean's podcast playing in the background for whatever weird reason, and it started playing by
itself. Honestly. Anyway, was that shrimp cocktail that the scouts were eating at the dinner?
Yeah, it was shrimp cocktail. That's the most famous restaurant in Indy, and it's St. Elmo Steakhouse.
St. Elmo's, right? But what was on the shrimp cocktail that they were like, oh my god, like...
I think it might have been spicy because I think someone said, "Ooh, that was spicy" or something along those lines.
Like the cocktail sauce was spicy?
Yeah, usually cocktail sauce is a little spicier, and I think that's their go-to meal. One of the go-to appetizers at that place. So it was funny, like they're peer pressuring. Like, of course we want this shrimp cocktail. So
Yeah, it looked like it was like covered in something.
yeah. I don't like shrimp and I don't like fish to begin with. So I don't eat that stuff to begin with. So I would have been the odd man out.
See, I like shrimp. Oh my God. Imagine that.
Yeah, finally you got something over me. But yeah, back to the actual combine. It was this is my favorite part when they do the draft videos and everything else, and they have the coaches, they have the position coach and the general manager just pepper the potential prospects, and it was cool to see Dabe's really, really going into it with the prospective quarterbacks if one of them was to fall to us or we were to move up and trade to get one of those guys. So, like we mentioned, we always joke like that's how I pictured you going to Starbucks of like making your order. Like, all right, I'm Coach Daboll. Nikki, give me your order at Starbucks right now, and you can't look at the board right now. Give me your Starbucks order. Gun to your head. Give it to me.
Yeah.
You're supposed to give me the order.
Oh, I'm supposed to give it to you. No, because I was just thinking about how somebody else sent me a Starbucks meme today, or like it was a reel, and it was just making fun. They were like, "This is how I picture you order at Starbucks," and it's similar to like what you just were making fun of me for. Well, it really depends. My Starbucks order is usually a venti iced coffee, unsweetened, with almond milk or oat milk, with the macadamia cold foam and one Splenda.
All right, ready, break. All right, awesome. That's your
But
order
I
right
thought
there.
those interviews were really interesting,
Right.
where he was like, okay, write the play on the board. And then he changed it and was like, okay, recite it back to me. Now do it again. Now do it again. And just quizzing them on everything. And I really have a new appreciation for Brian Daboll. Listen, I'm in the Brian Daboll camp. I like him. I don't think he should be on the hot seat. If nothing else, I just got more mad at how much Daniel Jones sucks watching this episode. Like, oh my God, look at, when they replayed Daboll's resume. Let's just talk about it for a minute. All the quarterbacks that he's worked with and his career and his resume, it's like, God damn, like, I'm not absolving Daboll of everything that happened this season, but like I always go back to the same thing with the Giants. It's a talent problem. And, we have a quarterback problem. And so it's just like, it's irritating because you're watching this man's career and all these great people that he's worked with. And it's like, oh, all right. Then you get Daniel Jones. It's like, well, what is he supposed to do? I mean, I don't know what else is he supposed to do?
Yeah, that's what we saw 2 years ago. We were able to game manage with him, and we were able to win 9 games, and we got the tie. So theoretically, we could have had 10 wins with Daniel Jones. So that just goes to show on how good our coaching staff really is. Right. And I'm like a broken record. We had Tyrod and Tommy DeVito, and they found a way to make the season respectable in all things considered. And they were definitely able to push the ball down the field just a little bit more. So that's really going to be interesting. We all know he's more than likely going to be taking over the play calling. That's the one weird thing we haven't seen in this Hard Knocks is the whole Kafka situation on how he was looking to get another job and the Giants sweetened up the pot and made him a more expensive assistant coach.
Oh, we still have 3 episodes left. I don't think we're going to see that, though. I don't think we're going to see any of the rift with Wink. Like, we're not going to see any.
Right, they threw that right under the rug
about like coordinators, anything like that. I don't think so. I would be shocked, and if they do, I think they like briefly touch on it to allude to something, but I don't think we're going to get any type of story whatsoever.
Correct. And I also think the Daboll quarterback tree, they didn't mention it, but he was a guy for the Patriots for a long time. So he was under the Tom Brady. And then when he came to the Jets, it was Brett Favre. And then when he went to He was the OC at Alabama. He coached up Hurts and Tua. And then, obviously, before he got here, was basically grooming Josh Allen to be what Josh Allen is today. So that is a pretty extensive, wow, that's a names of who's who and different style of quarterbacks. So we saw that last year with the likes of Tyrod and Tommy DeVito. And then 2 years ago, being able to have a Daniel Jones, being able to be the game manager and finding ways to mix and match on being a successful team 2 years ago.
You don't pay a guy $40 million to be a game manager.
I agree. I absolutely agree with that. So that was an interesting part. The other part of the Daboll questioning was the wide receivers. And I found it pretty interesting to the part that they showed Neighbors of all the questions that they asked them. It was the how do you handle you're not going to get the ball right away, start off the game. And they were peppering him, don't give us a bullshit answer. I want a real answer. And he gave us a real answer. And it's going to be interesting to see if Daniel Jones misconnects on a Neighbors pass where Neighbors would have scored a 45-yard touchdown pass. It's going to be really interesting to see how well he's going to be able to contain his frustration. So we talked about that last night as well. So let's see what happens with that. I'm really interested to see what's going on with that. That was actually good questioning. I would have probably liked to seen a little bit more because we knew we were going to draft him. I would have liked to seen a little bit more questions out of Neighbors, personally. But
what, like questions he had for them, or
more questions that the Giants had for him? But
well, they're trying to shove it in 45-minute episode. You're not going to see
of course,
all of that. But to Mark's point, character is extremely important. Listen, as someone that owns a business that is actively hiring, the interview, you've really got to ask the right questions in order to try, because everybody's going to put their best foot forward, to really try to figure out somebody's personality, somebody's character. How do they handle things? How are you handling a bad day? Are you going to go off the rails? Because you can't, you got to control your emotions a little bit. So I understand that, it's almost like I say this all the time. I can train people to do a lot of things, but can you get along with me? Can you get along with the team? Can you all work together? You're never going to like each other every single day. You're going to get on each other's nerves. You and I get on each other's nerves sometimes, but for the most part, we work well together, right? Especially in podcasting, you have to be real. You have to be authentic. You have to have chemistry together. So it is important. I feel like the interview process, as much as the skills are important, yes, 100%, being able to evaluate somebody's character and integrity, that's got to hold more weight to me anyway.
No, I absolutely agree.
Because we've seen what happens when you get, and yes, wide receivers are divas. We get that, but we have seen what happens, not just with the Giants, but other teams where you get that cancer, right, in the locker room and on the team, and all it takes is one person, and they start infecting everybody else. So it's important to try to figure it out in that interview portion. Who are you really getting?
Right. That's the hardest thing, because we know we've been in the interview process, either being interviewed or, for your case, doing the interviewing. You could easily BS a interview. It's easy to do. And it really comes down to the higher brass to being able to weed out those situations. And I think with Joe Shane and Daboll and Brandon Brown, it seems like they're doing a pretty decent job right now. There's obviously a couple blemishes. Hopefully they step up in year 3 of the first draft class, and the rookies from last year to step up, obviously.
Yeah, look, I mean, some of those guys, you just don't know who you've got until time passes, right? And sometimes true colors come out. But, I did like the line of questioning, and I do like that they were like, don't bullshit us, right? Just give it to us straight. And I like that Daves went back at him respectfully and said, I like that trait in you, that fight, that will take you a long way, that competitiveness, the want to win, but you got to control it, Right. So he gave him constructive criticism that, probably a lot of us could use.
Right. And I think Daves is that kind of guy. And that's why I think the players like him, and he's a player's coach. And it's like, all right, he's not going to bullshit you. Yeah,
No.
it's going to suck when you're going to get your ass chewed out by him. And it's just like, all right, this is going to suck. But at the end of the day, he wants the best out of you. So, end of the day, Dave's is the guy. I obviously, I'm a full Dave supporter. So
I am too. I think he doesn't get enough credit. I think he's incredibly smart. I think, like we had said, he's got a very extensive resume and he's built this career in the NFL. And, unfortunately, I just think we've had years of bad drafts and unfortunate free agent signings, and things don't always work out the way that you want them to. And like you said, hopefully year 3, like we've got some new coordinators, we've got, new offensive line coach, right? New strength and conditioning. Like there's enough new pieces maybe in place that, things can kind of start maybe moving, like trending upwards here. I certainly hope so. But I always respected Daboll, but I think this episode made me respect him even more for what his craft is and just how much knowledge that he has.
Right. And you lead me into the next part that I was going to mention, was another week of slowly breaking down the Brian Burns trade and sprinkling the notes of like, what would it take to get Brian Burns? And it's, as of right now, it's 2 seconds, which it was ultimately 2 seconds. We're going to be paying him a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they had Shane Bowen, and Joe Shane joked that, all right, we have Dex and we have KT, and then we put Brian Burns there. I could play cornerback, and that was a really funny moment. And you just seen Shane Bowen giggling and like, yeah, go get my guy type of thing. So, and it is proven fact, and he's more of the rush 4 guys. He's not going to be like Wink, who's just going to send the house with a corner or a safety or the outside linebacker on either side. It's going to be the 4 guys up front, and we will meet you at the quarterback, and let's go hunt type of thing. And that's what the older Giants from the 07 team and the 2011 team and that whole generation of D-line and edge rushers. So it seems to be that's the way we're going to be building going into this season. So that was fun. It was fun to see their reactions at 40 times. I know you love the Hartman part where he was the only quarterback to run a 40 and his hair flopping in the wind.
I didn't give a shit what his time was. I just wanted to look at him. And I did record it on my phone. I already posted it months ago.
Yeah, you already posted it, yeah.
But I just wanted to re-record. I might post it again. That's
might
what
as
I
well.
do for a living. Just repurpose content. I mean, come on. He's got a great head of hair.
Yeah, and I think Dave's called him Uncle Jesse, so that was pretty funny.
How much do you think Joe Shane's grandma rewound, she just rewound that part a couple times?
A lot, definitely.
Like a lot of times.
For sure. And that was basically...
So what could you run a 40 in? Because Dave said a 7 if there was wings.
It was 7 with wings. I'm gonna say I haven't ran a 40 in let's say 20 years. I'm dating myself. That's how crazy it is. I was 17, 18, so it was around high 5, 6 range. So me now being older and fatter, probably around the 7 second mark, 7.5, I would give myself before popping a hammy.
7.5, huh?
I don't know. What would you run a 40? Yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to be fast. So
5. I give myself 5.
Okay, I could see that.
5. I did used to run track, so.
So did I, actually. That was my spring sports. So I'd run
same. When cheer was over in fall and winter and competitive cheer was over, I still danced all year, but I ran track. But I was much better with short distances. I have great bursts for a short distance. So I think I could run a 4. I highly doubt it would be 7.5 for me. I think I'd be a little faster.
I mean, doing track instead of getting hit by lacrosse balls were a wonderful idea.
Wait, did you play lacrosse?
I played lacrosse in 8th grade, and I was the backup goalie. And just on Long Island, it is a lacrosse hotbed. So I was playing kids that were going to be playing D1, and they knew that in 8th grade. So I'm like, nah, this is not for me.
Not for. I'll run track instead.
I'm
Everybody.
gonna play track, hang out with the girls, hang out with the guys. It was like the most fun we had. Like track meets were boring as fuck, but
Yeah.
you got
Oh
to
yeah.
hang out with the other teams at the meets, and it was a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And you were able to run, and I obviously threw shot put and discus. Wasn't good at it. I didn't really care. I was just there for the exercise portion of it, But yeah, it was fun. I would do the 100-meter dash relay, like as a the throwers have to do it as a like a flight, which was like nonsense. But I would always do the 100.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so 7.5. Now, what if there was a plate of wings though at the other end? Would you go a little faster?
4.5. No, I'm kidding.
What if there's pizza at the end?
Pizza, I'm gonna say 4.5.
4.5.
4.5.
So you're not breaking Worthy's record.
I'm not gonna break Worthy's record.
Which, by the way, we had to confirm because I forgot where he went, and of course he fucking went to the Chiefs.
So here's the fantasy aspect. That's gonna be a 100% stash away if you're able to get him. And then by the playoffs of fantasy
by
playoffs,
week 13, you're like, fuck yeah.
I'm smart. I got Worthy. Patrick Mahomes loves him. And there you go. He wins you a championship if he's healthy. And Patrick trusts him. But yeah, that's
for him running again. Would you have ran again? I would have ran again.
Yeah. I mean, that's just showing your competitive edge, and it's not going to hurt you. Obviously, when you run that fast, people are going to be like, wow, he ran that fast. It's not like you're going to be running like 5 seconds fast, like 0.5 of a second slower. You know what I mean? So those are the type of guys like, oh, I'm just going to show off my speed. You know what I mean?
Oh, he just got married yesterday. Oh, well, good for him. Well, he's young, right?
Yeah, 21, 22. Yeah.
I don't know. I notice all these young kids like getting married okay, hey, whatever. Do you. But yeah, I totally would have ran again. He was so close to the record. It's like, how do you not? You know, right. And just that crowd cheering for him. I just thought that has to be a really cool moment. I don't know what that's like to break a record, but
yeah, no, it's absolutely insane. Especially like you have people like he could easily run in the Olympics and compete with the top world sprinters in the whole entire world, and he could easily win that and win a gold medal. That just goes to show you what kind of athletes that NFL players and overall sport pro athletes. I saw a Mitchell Robinson highlight on Instagram yesterday. And he's playing like pickup basketball against complete like scrubs like you and me. And he's like tossing Nikki.
Did you call me a scrub?
If you were to play Mitchell Robinson, he's going to cross you up. He's going to dunk on you. He's going to pop a couple threes on you.
Excuse me. I am no scrub.
Okay. But when you're playing Mitchell Robinson, it's completely different. And you're
call
like
yourself a scrub.
Fair.
Relax over there, TLC. We don't want no scrubs. Fair. I'm not a scrub when it comes to basketball.
Okay, but when Mitchell Robinson dunks on you and like pulls up a three,
still no scrub.
Okay, I'll show you the video, and you're like, all right. Obviously, he'll never do that in a game because Tibbs is gonna kill him. But it really is funny to see like even the worst skilled players in the NBA or any sport is light years ahead of the most average person in the world. So it's always cool to see that. So.
Well, should we get to the elephant in the room, the part of the show that everybody is like clamoring to talk about? Saquon.
So it started off with Saquon. It was Joe Shane practicing what he's going to say to the press conference. And this is where I would have edited on Joe Shane basically saying outwardly in closed doors is, yeah, I offered him a lot of money and he didn't take it. So what do you want me to do? So that part was going to be all over social media. I made sure I wasn't on X. I wasn't on Instagram after that. I'm sure the people that wanted Saquon to be a Giant for life hated that moment. And they're going to have their pitchforks ready for Joe Shane saying he's stupid and he's the worst GM, and let's fire him next season.
They're going to have their pitchforks out no matter what he said.
Right.
You know, because yes, that call was tremendous access, but you can't please this fan base. So no matter what he said, somebody was going to have a pitchfork out for him.
Agreed. But that was the easiest. That was the easiest thing for like, all right, here we go. X and all the other football shows that aren't Giant related is going to absolutely destroy him for it. It's going to be, oh, what, you paid Daniel Jones $40 million. Why can you pay Saquon just a little bit more? So we forgot to mention at the start of the show as well, this is when they find out the salary cap goes up. So this is where they're debating, do we extend Xavier McKinney, who ultimately went to Green Bay, or Saquon Barkley, and then whole Brian Burns situation happens. So at the end of it, and the end of the show, it's Joe Shane calling Saquon's agent. Basically, listen, we're not going to do the tag again. We're not doing that drama again.
Yeah.
We're going to let him test the market. And the agent was like, okay, no problem. And then at the end of the show, it was Joe Shane having a convo on the phone with Saquon, still trying to be his buddy because in the slight hope of him coming back. And it was like, don't you want to be in the Ring of Honor and all that other fun stuff, be a career Giant? Ultimately, the one thing I didn't like, but it is a negotiation tactic, he didn't tell his agent, oh, I want to see what the other numbers are from the other teams before us giving an actual number. I'm sure that in retrospect, that's probably a smart idea. You deal with contracts all the time. In retrospect, that stung a bit because we ultimately know Saquon does go to the Eagles and he's no longer a Giant. So was that a right play by Joe Shane, or that was him showing his hand a bit? Like, being in negotiations all day long.
Yeah, I negotiate all day long. I try not to show my hand, but it depends on the situation. And sometimes you got to read the room. I truly think he knew that they weren't going to get anything done. I honestly truly believe if you watch this back and you piece everything together and you think about things that were said and you think about actions that were taken and you take into consideration they weren't even close last season, right? They just couldn't get there. And I'm not saying Saquon was being advised properly because I don't think he was, and he had a lot of people in his ear too. And it's unfortunate where the quarterback market is right now in the league. So you have to take that in consideration too. I just honestly, truly believe they were operating from a place of like, we're not going to get anything done. And you can hear it in that conversation in Joe Shane's voice. Like you can just, and I'm not even saying that because, hindsight's 2020. It's just read the body language, like read the nonverbal. And there's so many things in a negotiation that are said in the unsaid. And a lot of things were unsaid there. And there was a lot of tension in that conversation. And I just think it was lip service, right? We want you to come back. Of course we want you to come back, but I think that they knew deep down they weren't going to have a shot, and they've thrown the word disrespect around too much. So I think it was a done deal that he wasn't going to come back to New York. So I think it was just lip service. The cameras were there. And of course, yeah, if they could get a deal done, great. You want to see that. I just don't think it was ever going to happen.
Right. And it's fair. And he did the respectful thing of calling him up. Hey, by the way, go test the market. I appreciate everything you've done for me personally for the last 2 years and the whole Giant organization for your whole tenure, because he's been the consummate pro.
He has been, but you could hear in his voice.
He was upset.
He's upset, and it was like, you know what? Like, F this franchise. Like he felt disrespected, and hey, to each their own. If you feel that way sometimes, and sometimes you just can't come back from it. So, no, it is what it is. I just don't think they were ever going to get there. And I think that was kind of obvious, just seeing how contract negotiations were going, and they were going nowhere fast. And I think the only reason they got something done last season is, and I remember going like, oh my God, I don't want to go to training camp the first day and all of the media is there and all we're going to ask, or anyone's going to ask, is questions about Saquon. I think I remember saying to you, I'm dreading this because I don't want the whole entire camp to be about Saquon.
And he showed up the first day of camp and he was a ultimate soldier with that.
And they got it done the day before, 2 days before, something like that?
Yeah, something along those lines. So the last thing with Saquon, it's not about Hard Knocks. Since we're talking about Saquon, today the Giants brought out the top 100 New York Giants of all time. They have a panel of beat writers, fans, and other former players, and like a whole thing. And today was 100 to 91.
Did we get to vote?
No, we did not get the vote. We're not
What
cool.
the hell? Why are we not part of this?
I don't know. Unfortunately, we were not.
Who decides?
The big ups with the Giants. So
today, Dion, we ain't getting a vote.
yeah, you burnt.
Sorry about that.
You burnt that bridge. So today today was the first day of 100 to 91, and Saquon was 95. All right, I get we're supposed to hate Saquon. He's an
95?
95 of all 5,000 New York Giants that have ever laced it up with the Giants the last 99 seasons. Saquon was number 95.
95?
I think that's an ultimate slap in the face, personally.
Wow, talk about disrespect.
I mean, I'm sorry. And as much as, like, yeah, he's an Eagle now, and you didn't really want to put a player high enough because he's still playing, but I could easily say Saquon is in the top 15, top 20 Giants of all time, just because of the athletic ability that he has shown. Yes. Did he end in the right note? Probably not. But just his skill alone, him being 95, and there's easily 80 players that he could be higher than, I thought that was an ultimate slap in the face. And I'm like, all right, that list is like horseshit. I'll be honest. Once I saw,
now that you put him at 95, like the rest of the list is like, where the hell's Eli then? Like, I can't imagine. Like, that list is crazy already.
Yeah, I'm assuming Eli is going to be top 5, but like just having Saquon being on the first show,
it's disrespectful. It's the theme, right? Him feeling disrespected and them ranking him there is disrespectful. Like, I don't think you should hold it against him that he went to. Yeah, it sucks he went to Philly, but what does that have to do with everything he did for this franchise?
Right. And I know our franchise is predicated on running backs. I'm not saying he's better than Tiki. I'm not saying he's better than Rodney Hampton. I'm not saying he's better than Frank Gifford or name any running back. But those guys were on high pantheon of Giants running backs. But you just say that Saquon's number 95 was pretty wild to me. And
it's also 2024. I mean, we're hitting a point where, like, I don't even know, like, some of these guys, well, old.
Like, yeah, like me watching the Giants for the last 25 years, and that's putting it nicely, and just watching the players that we've seen growing up, and now he's easily a top 3 athlete that we've ever seen put on a Giant uniform.
Yeah.
And you put him at 95. I don't care that he was drafted number 2. That's not Saquon's fault. So that whole thing is weird to me. And that completely.
Well, now I don't give a shit about the rest.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit about the rest of the list. And there was a couple of other players that I loved, like Akeem Nicks was on that list for the first episode as well. I thought he should have been a little higher as well. So that Saquon being at 95, and you mean to tell me there's 80 better Giants?
No, there's not. They just wanted to stick it to him, and you can't blame him for feeling disrespected. And now that I feel like, that list is complete crap. But are you looking forward to episode 3?
I'm looking forward to episode 3 because this is where the juiciness comes. This is where Xavier McKinney goes to Green Bay. This is when we finally get the Brian Burns contract / trade. This is where we finally say, Saquon, see you later, Saquon. It's nice knowing you. Hope you, quote unquote, have a good career, except when you play us, type of thing. So it's going to be bittersweet to see that. I'm not going to even lie about it.
Yeah, that might be a tough episode, but we will be here recapping episode 3, I think, as long as my schedule lines up.
I will be here. Nikki, hopefully her schedule lines up like it did this week. Be sure to check out this episode, like and subscribe on TNL_NYG, all our socials. Also, check out our episode last night was really fun. It was a recap of episode 1, and we pretty much nailed episode 2. So
Yeah.
good
I
job
wish
by
we
us.
could binge it too. I hate the fact that we can't just binge it because I would just stay up like all night right now and just like watch the rest of it. Like,
Right.
and then just do one big podcast. But before we get out of here, I can't let you go without knowing what you ate for dinner. Sorry.
Of course you coach, you can't let me do that. I had a children's dinner tonight. My kids wanted chicken tenders, so we had chicken tenders. I had chicken tenders, and that was about it.
You had chicken tenders.
Yeah, with honey mustard, so you can't really get disgusted.
Well, I mean, I don't like chicken tenders. It's breaded chicken. Did you have fries with it, or no? Because you had that in your lunch today.
Yeah, I had that on my lunch today. I had a chicken gyro, which was pretty good. So what happened was at that food court, that's where the plier bowl that I told you that the guy messed up the peanut butter last week.
Oh, he did a sloppy PB job. I remember that. Yes.
So what happened is my normal go-to plier bowl was out of control, and the line was completely long. It seemed like everybody was in the office today, like all downtown. So the line was completely crazy. So it's just really just like, all right, if there's literally 2 people at that plier bowl, I'm like, I'm never going to get my order. I wanted it quicker. So I went to the second plier bowl, and that line was kind of long. And then I saw in the corner of my eye the gyro place right behind it. I'm like, oh, I'm in a mood for a gyro, and I got a chicken gyro. I know the normal gyro is beef and lamb, which I do love, but I got it with tomato. I got it
I saw
lettuce.
that tomato. My question to you is, if you wanted pliable so bad, why don't you just order ahead on the app?
You're right. Normally, that is my go-to, but I wanted to kill time. It's usually a quick in and out process, but for whatever reason, everybody was at work today.
Have you had the stupid Cupid bowl?
No, I have not. What is?
I modified it.
What is the stupid Cupid bowl?
Well, it comes with like Nutella and white chocolate and all that, but I took all that off. So, but the base is like the strawberry banana smoothie. And so I kept the strawberries, the bananas. I think I added blueberry.
I was actually gonna get that. I was actually eyeing that. I didn't know the name off the top of my head, but that's what I was.
Yeah, you should get it. It was good. I sold 2 of them on the beach.
I had the mango one last week, so that one was.
I love that one, the golden mango, or whatever it's called.
That was really refreshing.
Is that like sick in the head that I know the names of all the bowls and the smoothies? Like, I could probably work there.
Yeah, you should become a manager, open up a franchise, and run it. What else? What else can Nikki Nick do?
Did you know the pliables that makes the most money is the one in Newark Airport? At Newark Liberty.
I believe that because you only have slim pickings of everything, and let's face it, people don't want to really eat heavy before they go on a flight. No, it's
on the United side, so you have like, if you're not flying United, then yeah, you really have slim pickings. So, but it's on the United side. So
okay, I've been to Newark. I haven't been in Newark for at least 15 years, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, wait. So when you fly, LaGuardia, I guess?
No, JFK. I live like 5 minutes from JFK, so.
I hate having to go to JFK. I will sometimes, because actually sometimes it's cheaper, but then you're like, oh, fuck this drive.
Right.
Like,
that's the equivalent for me to go to Newark, so it's the same thing.
Yeah. But hey, pliables on the United side. That alone might get me to just keep flying United. I usually fly JetBlue, but
me too.
Now the JetBlue terminal at JFK is really nice.
Yeah, that terminal is elite because I don't fly that often. So when we do, it's usually JetBlue. So yeah, last time I went was Starbucks is always packed there.
You gotta order ahead.
Yeah, well, yeah. Obviously now it's ordering ahead. Last time I flew was 2019.
2019 was the last time you were on a plane?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't needed to go on a plane.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever work at Hello Green, you'll be on a plane like every other week.
Right.
I'm telling you, there are weeks where, like, especially when September and October start, oh my God, I'll be on a plane, I'll be home for a day, then I gotta go somewhere else, then I'm back on a plane, and I'm home for a day. Like I started doing my schedule a little bit tonight, and I was just like, oh my God, I don't even want to look at it. Are you gonna rewatch? I see some people in the chat saying they're gonna rewatch Hard Knocks. Will you go back and rewatch it tonight or maybe on a couple days and see if you catch anything you might have missed on the first viewing?
If I have time, yes. I have my friends like West and other people that go through it like a fine comb. So
Oh, okay.
I technically don't have to. I wanted to watch it last week's episode today. I just couldn't get to it. But yeah, I'll probably watch this one over again if I find the 45 minutes to do so. So how about you?
No, I'm not going to watch it again.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because I didn't finish watching Sprint, and there's 2 more episodes of that. Okay. Which, by the way, guys, if you haven't watched Sprint on Netflix, I did do a video about it. It is the sports documentary about the track team, and the Olympics are starting right on your birthday, right, or the day before your birthday. So it's great viewing prerequisite to go watch Sprint, and I think it's a pretty quick series, only 6 episodes, so I've got 2 left.
Okay, awesome. That's noted in the back of my head to watch.
Note that. I'm excited for the Olympics. I'm excited to share with everybody the athletes we did interview at the Team USA Media Summit and to talk about some of these sports that, aren't basketball and track and swimming and gymnastics that don't get enough recognition, because I have all these stories and they're pieced together, but I haven't finished them yet because the Olympics didn't start yet. So
there you go. No, I actually love watching the Olympics, both winter and summer, obviously with the dog days of baseball. So it's fun to watch. I'm excited. They're doing a Red Zone style channel on Peacock. I forget who's hosting. Maybe Scott Hansen.
I was going to say, is it Scott Hansen? He should host.
I'm almost positive it is him. I think they loaned him for those 2 weeks.
Okay.
But
it's who's going to do an Olympic octo box? It has to be Scott Hansen.
It has to be him. But
it has to be. I'm not going to watch then.
I know West is actually going to France. Him and his girlfriend are going to France.
Oh.
So that's going to be fun to have them boots on the ground to see. I forgot what Kristen said, what events they're watching, but they had to do lotteries of picking. They had to map out where to do, what to do, and everything else like that. So that seems like a fun thing.
That's very cool. I know. I was hoping to get credentials for that, but maybe LA 28.
You always had a goal for something else. So start planning now. All right. That's our quick. Well, it wasn't quick. It was basically a full episode. Thank you for checking us out. Be sure to like and subscribe our channel. We actually are starting to grow a little bit more. Between last night and today, we got 4 more subscriptions. So be sure to like.
Thanks, everyone.
Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be a taskmaster on Nikki to push out more content when the season is coming.
Yes, because everybody wants to hear from me all the time.
All the time. So we will see you Monday. We'll see you Monday, and we'll pop out a couple content videos here and there. Until then, have a good night, guys.
Bye, guys.